Hi, I'm Leon Lovelace, and this is Unstoppable Force. Now, I need your help. I need you to go to my GoFundMe campaign. I'm going to put a link in the description box below. So I need you to go there and donate to me so I can do this show full-time instead of just part-time. Okay, I got a news story for you, and it's on yahoo.com, but it's from the Associated Press. And it's about how Manafort and Gates have been indicted federally for some charges. And this was the big news that happened yesterday. I thought that I might drop a video on it, but I decided just to do another one and then to do this video today because it's only a day old, so it's still big news. Okay, I'm going to skip the first paragraph. I'm going to start with the formal charges against a total of 3 people are the first public demonstration that Special Counsel Robert Mueller and his team believe that they have identified criminal conduct. And they sent a warning that individuals in the Trump orbit who do not cooperate with Mueller's investigations or are believed to mislead them during questioning could also wind up charged with facing years in prison. Paul Manafort, who steered Trump's campaign for much of last year, and business associate Rick Gates, ended the day under house arrest on charges that they funneled payments through foreign companies and bank accounts as part of their private political work in Ukraine. George Papadopoulos, also a former campaign advisor, faced further questioning and then sentencing in the first and so far only criminal case that links the Trump election effort to the Kremlin. Manafort and Gates, who pleaded not guilty in federal court, are not charged with any wrongdoing as part of the Trump campaign, and the president immediately sought to distance himself from the allegations. He said on Twitter that the alleged crimes occurred years ago, and he insisted there was no collusion between his campaign and Russia. But potentially more perilous than for the president was a guilty plea by former advisor Papadopoulos, who admitted in the newly unsealed court papers that he was told in April 2016 that the Russians had dirt on Democratic rival Hillary Clinton in the form of thousands of emails, well before it became public that the Democratic National Committee and Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta's emails had been hacked. I'm not liking this part because Papadopoulos wasn't charged with having improper communications with Russians, but rather with lying to FBI agents when asked about the context, suggesting that Mueller, who was appointed in May to lead the Justice Department's investigation, prepared to indict for false statements even if the underlying conduct he uncovers might not necessarily be criminal. And the big reason why I don't like this is because the media's been screaming about, oh, Russian collusion, oh my gosh, this is such a serious deal. Of course, the hypocritical motherfuckers, because we overthrow governments on a yearly or bi-yearly basis, so just trying to do a little bit of influence is nothing compared to overthrowing governments, so they're full of shit. I mean, people that are running political campaigns just simply can't get anything of benefit from foreign governments, so if this guy, Papadopoulos, actually met with the Russian government officials trying to get aid from them, he should be charged for that. So this is just showing that law and order bullshit that the Republicans always give with their stupid rhetoric. They only mean law and order for the poor, the working class, and black and brown people. Because if you're a rich white guy or you're a powerful white guy, you're not really gonna have the law crack down on you for breaking all the laws that you did break. So just keep that in mind. Oh, but also the most important part is that this is still showing that the Russians didn't hack into our elections, they didn't hack into our voting machines. They didn't do anything like changing any of the votes. They didn't do any of that shit that a lot of the mainstream media keeps screaming when they talk about Russia. We had Russian collusion and we had Russian interference. No, it wasn't the Russians that hacked to the DNC and Hillary Clinton emails. And the DNC email hacks, those were inside job. I did a story on that a couple months ago. It might have been a month ago. John Podesta email hacks, those weren't from the Russians. And anyway, a lot of that shit just revealed the truth that the DNC was a corrupt organization bent to make sure that Hillary Clinton won the Democratic primaries over Bernie Sanders. So even if they did, they're just showing you the proof. They weren't lying to people about how you shouldn't vote for Hillary because all the corrupt shit she was up to, all the corrupt shit the DNC was doing to make sure that people couldn't vote, with purging all these voter rolls in several states, closing down voting machines, and not necessarily closing down voting machines, but like not maintaining some of the voting machines in some voting areas, and shutting down a lot of polling places. Yeah, so I got to do a video of illegal voting purges that happened. So it was a fucking shit show. And the Papadopoulos plea occurred October 5th, but was not unsealed until Monday, creating further woes for an administration that had prepared over the weekend to deflect the Manafort allegations. Papadopoulos admitted lying to FBI agents about the nature of his interactions with foreign nationals who he thought had close connections to senior Russian government officials. Indictment naming Manafort and Gates, who also had a role in the campaign, lays out 12 counts including conspiracy against the United States, conspiracy to launder money, acting as an unregistered foreign agent, making false statements, and several charges related to failing to report foreign bank and financial accounts. The indictment alleges the men moved money through hidden bank accounts in Cyprus, St. Vincent, and the Grenades, and the Seychelles. In total, more than $75 million flowed through the offshore accounts, according to the indictment. Manafort is accused of laundering more than $18 million. So, Cenk Uygur did from the Young Turks, he did a report a few months ago about how Manafort was found to have been a foreign agent for Russia a few years ago. So back then he was upset that, this proves that it was Russian collusion and Russian interference, and that was bullshit because he wasn't acting on behalf of the Russian government. At least we didn't know that then. And still now, it's not showing that he did anything on behalf of the Russian government. So far, Russian government collusion still bullshit. But at least some of these wealthy guys are getting indicted and charged for money laundering and avoiding paying taxes. So to help and make sure that your roads are fixed, make sure the water plants near your house are actually cleaning the water like they should, make sure that your children get a good education through state taxes, so on and so forth. So hopefully a few more wealthy people get charged and indicted for pretty much defrauding the government by not paying taxes. And then we also mustn't forget that also people that are just cheerleading that that the Trump campaign is going to go down because this is going to prove that the Trump campaign colluded with Russia, and we got cheated out of a Hillary presidency, and they don't say anything about how Hillary colluded with Ukraine to get dirt on Donald Trump. They're full of shit, and they're hypocritical fucking liars. So I'm not gonna just at face value listen to anything political that they say, because they're just showing themselves to be a partisan hack, and just being a partisan hack is not gonna help with any political problems we have in the U.S. or anywhere else. Okay, so I'll go with this article. I have this article with the Gateway Pundit. It has political EU reports. A Ukrainian member of parliament has requested a criminal investigation into possible meddling by his country's government into last year's U.S. presidential election, claiming that interference has seriously damaged Ukrainian-American relations. In a July 24th letter to Ukraine's Prosecutor General, Andrei Derkach, an independent MP, skip a little bit, requested the authorities launch a pretrial investigation into illegal interference in elections as President of the United States organized by a criminal organization. Let's skip down a little bit. Derkach's accusations center around reports first published in Politico in January that Ukrainian politicians and diplomats may have cooperated with people connected to the Democratic National Committee to hamper Donald Trump's candidacy and bolster Hillary Clinton's presidential bid. The key figure involved has denied any coordination with the DNC. This is interesting, this part, when it says interest in these claims gained new life after a tweet by President Trump on July 25th, which he called on the U.S. Attorney General's office to investigate Ukrainian efforts to sabotage the Trump campaign. One of the most egregious aspects of the media's coverage of alleged Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election is its refusal to report on the efforts of the DNC in Ukraine to get Hillary Clinton elected president. Watchdog group Foundation for Accountability and Civic Trust agrees and recently filed a complaint with the FEC over the alleged collusion between the DNC and Ukraine. Okay, the conservative group, I'm going to go down a little bit. Conservative group Foundation for Accountability and Civic Trust, launched in 2014 by former U.S. Attorney Matthew Whitaker, will allege that political operative Alexandra Chalupa, in her capacity as a DNC consultant, improperly sought intelligence on President Trump's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, from Ukrainian officials. Okay, and federal law and commission regulations prohibit any person from knowingly soliciting, accepting, or receiving contributions or donations of money or other things of value from a foreign national, the complaint reads. And the fact alleges that Chapula violated the ban by knowingly soliciting a valuable in-kind contribution in the form of opposition research and information on a Trump campaign official from a foreign national on behalf of the Democratic National Committee. Yep, so this has been definitely not talked about enough. So that just means that Chalupa should be getting charges too, especially if the Trump campaign or the Trump administration and Jeff Sessions really wants to say, okay, they actually broke the rules for a campaign, or broke the campaign rules, so they need to be charged too. And they might get some political points from their base for doing that too, but I would just find it highly odd and unusual if they didn't charge this woman for the soliciting of information, because that's just simply against the law.